angels waging war in the unseen realm. Global events fulfilling biblical prophecy. Eternal life. What lies beyond mortality? From analyzing the paranormal from a biblical worldview to the discussion of cutting-edge science and technology, conspiracy, discovery, special investigative reports. Unafraid to explore the challenging issues facing humanity. Welcome to another edition of Skywatch TV. Special Investigative Report.
When we hear stories of giants, we tend to think that these are legendary creatures, stuff of myth, fiction. But would you be surprised to learn that one actually was flown aboard an AC-130 piloted by a member of the U.S. Air Force? Welcome to Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. In studio with Skywatch TV CEO Tom Horn and the producer of Gen 6 Productions, producer of the new documentary series True Legends. The new entry is called The Unholy Sea, Steve Quayle. Steve, welcome.
Hi, Derek.
We had just begun to discuss something. You kind of dropped a bombshell at the end of our last program with only a minute to go, which is, as far as show business is concerned, that's great to leave people wanting more. A giant flown aboard an AC-130 that was discovered in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghanistan.
So flown out of Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan after taking out a U.S. Special
Operations team. And fascinating, every time we do a Skywatch together or do a radio program together, people from all over the world who have been waiting to tell their story contact me. Now, why is this important? It's important because in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, well, we're talking 2,000 or 3,000 witnesses. When we do the documentary series, it's amazing. We go with one specific thought or plan, always before us, and God just basically, in His mercy and grace, brings in all of these chance meetings. So Rome, all roads lead to Rome because Rome's eyes are everywhere. Mm-hmm. They see everything. Well, what the important part of True Legends, the series, especially the second one, by the way, I consider it, and I think the first was good. This one's 10 times better. There's 10 times more information. We had double cinematographers because of the grace of, a benefactor. We were able to do what we couldn't do in the first one. And as I said, we're funded, ladies and gentlemen, by the people that believe in what we're doing. And here it is. I jokingly said it's David's sling. We're really, coming up against the giants. And I told people, faith isn't when God puts you out on a branch, and you're out there and you look down below you and you can go back to the trunk. Faith is when in God's world, you heard it, when He cuts the branch off, the branch is suspended and the tree falls over. And it's kind of like, crossing the Nile, when it's flowing in season, or the Jordan. It's always nice when God parts the Red Sea.
Sure.
So why this is critical in True Legends, a series, is because we're seeing the most open revelation of the covered up history of the world, covered up entities, and the idea now that there is so much pronouncements of the alien god coming out of Rome. The Mount Graham is interesting, intersection of ley lines. Second is, I believe, Tom, second holiest mountain.
Well, and also, by the way, before we get away from this pilot, I want people to know that in this documentary, you actually interview the pilot that flew the cargo plane, and then worked with an artist. I remember seeing a drawing that you had made by one of your artists.
Well, let me say this, without giving anybody up for reasons. I had an incredible sketch artist do if you will, the best description given to me of the dead giant. By the way, those who have purchased my book, Long Walkers, Skywatch has had specials. That cover is the artist's interpretation of the blow-by-blow account that was given by the AC-130 pilot. The AC-130 pilot basically flew in and out of Bagram. He said, you know, interestingly enough, Steve, everybody was being allowed out except me. And obviously, he's alive because he has a Bible-believing mother, God bless you, and he has people praying for his safety. So we brought him into Bozeman, Montana, into our small studio there, and we interviewed him. Obviously, he's in silhouette. But the story he tells was immediately validated to me by a hunter-killer team leader who was in Afghanistan and Iraq, but Afghanistan at the same time. So the pilot is talking to us about the giant, 10 to 12 feet. He said it weighed 1,500 pounds, you know, the 6 fingers, 6 toes. And I withhold certain information, but you can't separate the smell of the giant. Even those who go out after Yeti or Sasquatch, the abominable snowman, whatever you want to call, you know, Bigfoot. But even in the findings that we're following all over the world, the presence of stargates, giants, and cryptozoological creatures, things that not only go bump in the night, but basically are the things nightmares are composed of, are always found together. So the pilot gets a hold of me, Derek, you know, and this was contemporary. It was in 2005. It was on Coast to Coast. He sent me an email, which I can't say word for word because he said, I used to think you were blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And, you know, the blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Everybody knows what words fit that, you know, that blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And he said, until, okay? And then I thought, this is cool. Until I was tasked and ordered to fly. Went out. Now here's why. Well, why didn't he take pictures? The giant was accompanied by intelligence agents, okay? And he said, and he gave us the description of what they look like, and which people can get on this True Legends of series, you know. The bottom line is that the intelligence, and he made them give up their phones. They made them give up all cameras. They had to sign their national security letters, you know. Now, he's out of the Air Force now, okay? But one of the prayers I had is, oh, Lord, please don't let him be murdered, assassinated, or, you know, taken out because of this revelation. And I've actually read the Letter on the Air, and it's composed. If people want to get the background of just that scene, it's one thing to read it, it's nothing to see him on camera. When I brought up the Navajo elders singing, it's singing, meaning I guess they sing kind of chant, and that's one of the hardest languages in the world to learn. It was obviously used during World War II.
Right, to fool the Japanese. Right.
To fool the Japanese. Well, they can fool the Japanese, sure fool me. You know, I mean, me trying to speak Navajo, it would be like a third grader trying to pronounce graduate level physics, you know. Not going to happen. The point is that with this encounter, by the way, he was with a Judge Adjutant General, a JAG, and when she heard that, she flipped out. She said, I can't take this. She went over and hit the bar and had a double, okay? And it freaked my friend the pilot out, you know? It freaked my friend the pilot out so much. But what was fascinating is there's no way the native elder could have known that. Just like when we're in Rome, okay? When we're in Rome, Tim meets with a really famous illuminist. And what people are going to find out is the whole alien narrative tracks right back to the Vatican, with confirming and I mean, they got this on camera, and the whole presentation of all evidence will be controlled by them, so they can say, these are the gods. I was sharing with Tom, his wife, and my friend this morning at breakfast about how I was given a drawing by a very high-ranking military guy. The guy's a beautiful artist, I mean, really good. And in that, it looked exactly like the aliens portrayed in Childhood's End that Hollywood just produced, or the series on Netflix. Now, what's the chance of that? By the way, I received that almost close to 7 years ago, okay? And 7 real years, not that, in my world, that means last month was really last year, but, you know, because I just live in the event to event. But what was most fascinating is it matched the description to a T. You know?
Well, and Steve, let me jump in here if I can. Our research, independent of yours, absolutely confirmed what you're talking about. We went to the academic level. We went to the Navajo Nation. We talked to one of the guys that writes the books that they're using in their school. He's a professor. He's a third-generation medicine man. They almost look at, like if you were telling this story, they almost look at this like, well, sure, yeah, right.
So what?
Because they're outside of our media system. They're outside of our propaganda tools. You know, they remain very independent from us. But furthermore, what they remind us of is that early on in American history, you know, through the 1800s, the 1900s, universities all across the United States were digging up the bones of the giants and were putting them on display. I was on Jim Baker's show the other day, and I took 21 newspaper clippings with me of the giants. And the small ones were 7, 8, 9 feet. The big ones were 12, 14. One of them was 16 foot tall. At that time, the 1900s, they said it's the biggest human skull ever discovered. And they were right where the Indians told them they were. A flood came, swept their bones under the hills of the valley. All the ancient texts say that in the Middle East, but the American Indians say the same thing here. But what you said earlier is also something that people really need to wrap their mind around. They not only came once before, the gates not only opened once before, and that's discussed in the Bible, it's discussed in American history, it's discussed in Samaria, Egypt. Everybody knew this, right, as an ancient fact. The ancient Hebrew rabbis talk about it.
They all knew it.
But it's also biblical that the gates are going to open again. Isaiah, 13, open the gates, you ruler. This is a future thing. Giants are coming to fulfill my wrath. The book of Revelation, chapter 9, right? The gates underneath the Euphrates River open up. Angels are coming up out. And these are not good angels. These are wiping out huge portions of humanity. Another angel comes down. And what does he do? He's got the key to the bottomless pit. And he opens, and this gate of the earth opens up, and this stuff starts coming up out of the earth. So again, I would just want to remind people that are watching this program, and they may hear us make a reference to, American Indian history or something like that, and they may be sitting there, well, who cares? We're Christians, right? What's this got to do with the Bible? It's got a lot to do, not just with the ancient scriptural text, but future.
And interestingly enough, one of the fascinating things is even the natives who are cannibals, I mean, everything, and they were, I'm talking the Incas weren't vegans, okay? And the thing is they ate everything and everyone. I know that sounds horrible. Well, it is horrible. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the official records absolutely even declare the point where God himself sent lightning bolts and a flaming angel to destroy the giants, okay? So when you're talking a 6-foot-tall skull, and really soon I'll be pointing and putting on my website, True Legends, a series, that we've got a bunch of websites, they'll be on all of them, and you'll be on Skywatch. But when you see the size of a 36-foot giant in true anatomical scale, you can understand that these cyclopean blocks and everything you see above ground, Derek, it's not a New Age term, as above, so below, because that's Ephesians 6, for we wrestle not against. They may have termed it that way and stolen it, but that's a reality.
Lord's Prayer. Yeah, Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
You got it. The fascinating thing, here's the ratio. 15%, it doesn't matter what megalithic site on what ley line, it's South America, Bulgaria, the Russians, the Chinese pyramids, whatever. What's amazing is the same people that built all of them it links back. It links back to this, the very thing. So the conquistadors, some of the stuff that was given to us was 580 years on a shelf. That make a Swifter happy or a dust mop, but the point being, and it was at that specific time. Up until that time, no one had referred to it, and yet it's here. So I think the corollary that's taking place is that as Tom is in the desert Southwest, as he's at Mount Graham, and I'll tell you the other thing that we're finding out is the control of information from the Unholy See, especially on the alien thing. They want to control every aspect of the argument, the evidence, and the outcome. And that's where we're at.
Well, that's the key point. We'll get back to that in just a moment as we continue our discussion with Steve Quayle, producer, Gen 6 Productions, and the new documentary series, True Legends, The Unholy See. What does the Vatican know? Why are they trying to hide it? And what does it have to do with the resurrection of the ancient gods? Our conversation continues next on Skywatch TV.
In 2012, they shocked the international community when they predicted the resignation of Pope Benedict 1 year in advance.
Breaking news, Pope Benedict XVI announces his resignation.
Yeah, it is the first time in centuries a pope has stepped down.
And I knew Pope Benedict was going to step down April 2012.
Leaving the world wondering just who their insider at the Vatican really was. In 2013, they exposed the mysteries of Mount Graham, the Lucifer device.
This first station is an instrument called Lucifer.
And the Vatican's secret plan for the arrival of an alien savior. Then in 2015, they took the world underground to uncover the truth behind the Native American legends of giants, the portals they once came through, and the most overlooked aspect of end times prophecy regarding their return. Now, in their final entry to the explosive 4-year investigation, internationally acclaimed best-selling authors Thomas Horn and Chris Putnam unveil their greatest discovery and make their most astonishing prediction yet, involving the imminent prophesied arrival of a mysterious final Roman emperor.
At that time, the prince of injustice, who will be called the Antichrist, will rise. He will be the son of perdition and the culmination of pride. He will deceive many, but when the Roman Empire will fall, then the Antichrist will show himself, and he will sit in the house of God in Jerusalem. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that brought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Thomas Horn, Chris Putnam. This will be the final entry and the greatest prediction yet, coming May 2016. The final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's last crusade. Coming exclusively from Skywatch TV for a very limited time starting May 31st, 2016. When you purchase the new book and final report from Tom Horn and Chris Putnam, The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade, you'll receive the largest giveaway of 2016, an unprecedented value of over $200 in free books, DVDs, audio files, and a data DVD library with tens of thousands of pages of ancient literature no longer available, as well as movies, WikiLeaks files the government does not want you to see, and more for your library or to give away as gifts. Included in this biggest giveaway of 2016 are Chris Putnam's full-length DVD presentation, Astrobiology and the Vatican ET Connection, the new 5-part Skywatch TV special investigative report on the book, The Final Roman Emperor, plus 2 mystery books with a $40 value, and a data DVD library with thousands of pages of ancient literature, movies, and audio series for your library or to give away as gifts. And for the first several thousand customers while supplies last, you'll also receive Satan's Dirty Little Secret, the 2 demon spirits that all demons get their strength from. Satan, You Can't Have My Promises, the spiritual warfare guide to reclaim what's yours. What Happens When I Die, true stories of the afterlife and what they tell us about eternity. Becoming a Prayer Warrior, a guide to effective and powerful prayer. an unprecedented value of over $200 in never-before-offered free products, and the biggest giveaway of 2016, yours absolutely free when you purchase the final Roman Emperor from skywatchtv.com for only $19.95 plus shipping, beginning May 31st. But be advised, this astonishing promotion is limited to first come, first serve while supplies last. So it's urgent. Beginning May 31st, 2016, you place your order for the final book and biggest prediction yet in this 4-year investigation by internationally acclaimed best-selling authors Tom Horn and Chris Putnam. The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade for only $19.95 plus shipping. This offer is on a limited time basis and will end without notification. So be sure to visit skywatchtv.com to follow the updates in the countdown to the biggest giveaway of 2016. Order the new book by Tom Horn and Chris Putnam on May 31st to receive the unprecedented value of over $200 while supplies last. Free products limited to quantity on hand and may be replaced by products of equal value.
Skywatch TV has plenty of online content that doesn't even make it to our weekly broadcast. So if you're looking for additional information and discussions that we just couldn't fit into the weekly schedule, log on to skywatchtv.com and follow the links from there. Steve Quayle, producer of the True Legends documentary series, The Unholy Sea. Bringing this back around to the giant that at Bagram Air Force Base that we started with.
That's got to, doesn't it, Derek?
Well, it does. Well, because I'm trying to find the link between that and the Vatican and why they want to cover it up. Why would the U.S. government want to cover it up? What is the point of keeping that information secret, and what is the end game, I guess? How is this going to manifest here?
The end game is obviously releasing the things that have been bound by God for the centuries. That's why CERN, and I say this, I think it's right. God, we're told that one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit is discerning of spirits, and we're to discern the times. Well, CERN is like the biggest, if you will, cosmic skeleton key. It's like a central locking mechanism in a bank vault, okay? And once they break through the dimension that listen, what's really going on there is not made public. The only way I can find out, the good stuff, which is what we all want to know, is by someone who's listening on international radio on the internet. Now, you're asking a question. The resurrection, okay, shall the dead live to praise thee, okay? It's interesting because that's the word Rapha, okay, the dead. And so the resurrection of the giants, okay, the re-embodiment of the disembodied spirit. See, even the book of Enoch teaches us in the book of giants. People, you've got to know that's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But when those giants died, the half-human, half-fallen angel it became the demon.
Their spirits were cursed to walk the earth until the judgment, and basically torment mankind. Those are demons.
Yeah, right. But listen, a third of the angels fell with Lucifer. A third. Right. And people say, well, how many do you think are still on the earth? And they say, well, you know what? I just bloody don't know. I'm sorry. And I mean, they always want to. They're missing the bigger point. The bigger point, these things are coming back, and listen, again, they're not vegans. And so many of the extra biblical texts, even the different translations of the current text, and I want to make that clear, Tom, thank you. These are in 33 references. Some lady sent me an email, one of my typical fan club, and she said, you're just taking a couple obscure verses out of the Old Testament. What's wrong with you? I said, yes, ma'am. You want to throw out Genesis 1:1? Well, why don't you take your pick on what you want to believe? When Jesus said, lo, I come in the volume of the books that are written of me, talking about God, I mean, what books is he referring to? Certainly not Tyndale's publications, and I don't have a problem with them. But when we go back to the original source material and we've got access to the accepted and some of the most brilliant revelations, you can tell why. The giants are covered up, Derek, because of the sexual union of fallen angels and earth women, and it explains everything. And like I said, you have to cover that up. I maintain that when Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan, from the time Jesus ascended, the people that fought the good fight of faith, bottom line is Satan's right there to cover up until it behooves him to release. It's like everyone is excited about the building of the tribulation temple. I'm not, okay? I know who's going to come into it, you know?
Sure.
And all of the quote, messianic revelations having, I'm not. Jesus isn't. The Messiah doesn't hang out in, some forest in Italy waiting to be announced, And I'm sorry, I'm sarcastic because people don't know the Bible.
Right.
They would rather listen to some kind of this kid had a dream, And I believe in dreams and visions, but I believe in biblical ones, And so Jesus said, and this is maybe, we're running out of time, I know, but Jesus said, I came, you receive me not. Another will come, him you will receive.
Yeah.
This is what all of the control of the dead is about.
And frankly, and I know we are out of time, I don't think you can even understand the Old Testament if you don't understand what happened with the Watchers, the descent. This was an attempt on the part of rebel angels to take dominion of the earth away from God. And so the reason why you would cover up giants is because it flies in the face of everything we want people to believe. It flies in the face of Darwinian evolution. We think that we have increasingly gotten more and more intelligent, and yet the very megalithic structures, we're talking about stones that weigh almost 2,000 tons.
Absolutely.
Right? People can wrap their mind around that. Almost 4 million pounds. And we're supposed to believe that, some guys with a donkey and some rope chipped these out, didn't even have metal tools, right?
Seashells and, banana clubs.
Right, it's baloney. And yet the deeper that they dig into the earth, what they're finding that was buried during the flood is even the bigger stones. Last year at Bellbeck, remember? They thought the stone of the pregnant woman was the biggest one in the world till they found the one underneath it, right?
Yeah. Well, a good friend of ours who is a scholar of ancient languages could read the ancient Akkadian and Babylonian and Sumerian and so forth. He says, if it's in the Bible and it's weird, it's important.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
And that's one of the reasons that we talk about the things that we do on Skywatch TV, because those obscure verses are dealing with some very important topics. You'll find more in this 2-disc set from Gen 6 Productions, Steve Quayle and Timothy Alberino, True Legends, The Unholy Sea. The list price on this is $34.95, but as a bonus, we will add for free the groundbreaking book by Tom Horn and Chris Putnam, Exo Vaticana, which covers much of the same territory and basically looks at what those who envision themselves as the gatekeepers of truth want to see in our future. Frankly, a literal creation of heaven on earth. But as Christians, we know that that's not what's going to happen. We can't create heaven on earth. That's waiting for him to return. Again, True Legends, The Unholy Sea, and Exo Vaticana, yours for $34.95 from Skywatch TV. You'll find that deal online at the Skywatch TV store, skywatchtvstore.com. Just about 15 seconds, Steve. One final thought. What do you hope people take away from the DVD set?
I want them to have a hunger for truth. I want them to become thirsty for reality. I want them to be refreshed. There comes a time that God will refresh. By the way, it'll be available through Skywatch around May, the first week in May. Yeah. Because that's I'm already on my email. When's it out? When's it out? And so I'm excited for that. But what I want is the truth, because the truth sets men free. And there's so many people bound up in dead liturgy. There's too many people bound up in what I would say false liturgy. And the truth is going to free. And people are going to get my goal in life is to put the wow and the awesomeness of God before the people of his creation, his love, so they might see, Papa God, he a big God. He want his family back. I'm quoting a redeemed headhunter chief in New Guinea with that statement, and that's what won him to Jesus Christ.
Steve, always an education.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. For Tom Horn, I'm Derek Gilbert, and we thank you for watching
My brother.
as we keep watch. This is Skywatch TV.